Hi, my name is Keith Seekers, and this is my final portfolio. The website I created is just a partial look at my experience as a Clemson University master's student, and it shows the work I have done to fulfill the following competencies. This website shows what I came to graduate school for. Answers. You see, I left undergraduate at Clemson University in 2014 with questions that I never answered. How do people interact with various texts and media? What do they get out of it? And what is it called to study these interactions? My entire time in undergraduate studies, I never knew the answers to these questions. But I found this through my studies for an MAPC degree, Master of Arts in Professional Communication, now known as Master of Arts in Writing, Rhetoric, and Media. The answer I was looking for was user experience or UX research. UX research is the systematic investigation of users and their requirements in order to add context and insight into the process of designing the user experience. I was enamored with what I found. I found research on all kinds of topics I was interested in, and it led to my own research project as well. In my website, you can see that I have UX projects, media projects, and a publishable paper that all show the competencies required to get my master's degree. My UX projects were all client projects where I applied theory and methodology to research certain issues to best inform my clients on how to make changes to improve engagement with their audience. The media I produce shows how I combine outstanding writing skills with media and visual communication theories using classical and modern rhetoric to persuade my audience. Aristotle said that rhetoric was the faculty of discovering in any particular case all the available means of persuasion. Through all of my multimodal works and research, I was able to persuade in various ways. The first piece that I did was a persuasive piece that mimicked the Nate DeMeo podcast, The Memory Palace. For my subject, I did the Orangeburg Massacre, and I looked at how deterministic screens changed how we perceive this massacre. As you can see, I use Bitzer's exigence, audience, and constraints to analyze my podcast, but what I did in the podcast is create my own rhetorical situation around one distinct character, Delano H. Middleton, and how his name was misspelled on a memorial for over 30 years after the incident even occurred. Using sound effects and music, I created an entire soundscape that brought the user back into the era where this took place at the college, and up to the events leading to right before the shooting. After the shooting, I discussed some of the terminology that was used to discuss the massacre by the police and media. Bitzer states, rhetoric is a mode of altering reality, not by the direct application of energy to objects, but by the creation of discourse which changes reality through the mediation of thought and action. The rhetorical discourse provided by the newspapers and the police led to all 9 police officers being acquitted of any wrongdoing as they fired into an audience of college students. This relates to current events such as the Black Lives Matter movement, whereas the word of the police versus the media and the bystanders trying to get justice, just like they were trying to get justice back then. Next is a trifold brochure that I created to warn parents about technology used for young children. Using the design principles from Dan Rome's Back of the Napkin and Robin Williams' The Non-Designer's Design Book, using CARP theory, contrast, alignment, repetition, and proximity, I was able to use InDesign and Illustrator to create the effect I was going for. Similar to Aristotle's belief that litigants and deliberative speakers are trying to make the audience perform actions, my pamphlet was trying to bring my audience to the decision to control the technology used for their children. I used CARP theory to align my messages, contrast the gray and blue messages with actions versus information, repeat fonts and language styles, and kept relative information in proximity to each other in the hopes to keep my audience engaged. The antithesis to the trifold brochure was a video I created called A Simple Life. I created a fable about a child that went to college without any understanding of technology and the trouble that ensued. Using Stockman's book, How to Shoot Video That Doesn't Suck, I shot my video in quick shots, working with lighting, motion, natural transitions, and characters with facial expressions, and I produced a video at 1080p. The reason I used the Twilight Zone was to create a fable-like scene to drive a point. Aristotle states, fables are suitable in deliberative oratory, and have this advantage that while it may be difficult to find similar historical incidents that have actually happened, it is rather easy with fables. I did not have any real instances of children raised without technology, so I created my own. In my UX research, I combined research design practices, professional communication, and rhetorical theory, along with my media and design skills to present my work on my client-based projects. First, we'll look at NavAir and what we did for their career guidebook application. We did a heuristic analysis using Nielsen's 10 usability heuristics for user interface design. Then we used Hackos and Reddish's chapter, Thinking About Tasks, to do a think aloud protocol with our users that was task-oriented. We designed a test plan and coding scheme to record their interactions as they completed tasks on Moray. In the analysis, we created charts and edited video and audio to use testimonials in our final report that we presented to NavAir. Overall, the project allowed for me to apply what I had read to real-life situations and was invaluable research for future projects. For Bosom Buddies, a breast cancer support group, we created an entire content strategy analyzing emails and interviewing people to get information to create a persona share. For Sharon, I created a user experience map where Bosom Buddies could interact with Sharon at different touch points throughout the process to make her a long-term member. This design was based on Jason Callback's book, Mapping Experiences, a complete guide to creating value through journeys, blueprints, and diagrams. Brewski's is a little different because I invented the client based on consumer needs I found in the area. I designed an application that could help them. An app that will allow you to find deals on bars in your areas. For the design, I relied on Garrett's 5 planes for UX design to outline the scope, goals, and objectives. The wireframe was the skeleton, and the planes where I mapped out the functions in a general plan for looks. The surface plane used CARP theory practices and was uploaded into Envision, where I could map all of the paths. In Envision is a prototype of my app that you can actually pull up on your phone and walk through yourself. In my critical reflection, I pondered the moral dilemma of providing a drinking app that will expedite people's ability to buy alcohol cheaply, especially in a college town where binge drinking and blackouts are already an issue. Last is my publishable paper, Facebook Brand Management: How Rhetorical Appeal and Medium Affect the Interactivity of Posts. This was a 6-month case study I designed to look at which rhetorical appeal and medium created the most interactions per post. I designed it based on methodologies of Tefessa, Sean Williams, Samuel Azron, and others. The results are limited because it is a case study, so it can only reflect what I found and cannot show causality. However, the research shows that this methodology can be used to evaluate the EWAM of a post by looking at interactions, and the rhetorical appeal in media may influence the number of interactions. This is important for content strategists to understand in order to evaluate and improve the EWAM. I plan to try and publish this article in Brand Management, a scholarly journal based on branding. What I have shown you is just a small piece of my experiences at Clemson University as a grad student. I made new friends. I learned more in 2 years than I did in 4. And I learned how to not only apply theory to writings, but use research methods to validate and accurately design my own research studies that I use in my professional career. Along the way, I did a technical writing internship with Diebold Nixdorf in Ohio, taught freshman English, and took a job at 3M being the technical writer and training designer for the Charlotte location. In my trainings, I use my UX and media skills to design trainings and always complete user testing before implementing the training site-wide. I would like to thank my professors, my friends, and my family. I wouldn't be the professional communicator I am today without them. Please enjoy my website, and I look forward to seeing you soon.